I felt called to plant a church years ago.
So we probably started having conversations. I probably started hearing some of Scott's heart for eventually planting a church, probably 97 or 98. That's how long.
I had become very close friends with Scott, and I knew that it was on his heart to eventually, start as a church, whether that would be under the covering of a previous church or on our own.
Summer of 2011, June of 2011, we were in Arizona with our kids, and Janelle began to tell the story of how God brought us together and all of that. And in that moment, I was the light bulb moment. We're supposed to start a church. And we're supposed to start a church for people to have a fresh start, no matter what's gone on in their life, to be a place of refuge.
And I called Scott and he said, hey, by the way, I'm going to be starting a church and it's going to be awesome.
So we went back and talked to Pastor George and I had him pray about it. Said, if you give your blessing, we'll do it. If you don't feel it's right, we won't do it. And he said, you're supposed to do it. So we began having interest meetings the summer of 2011. So after Pastor George gave us the blessing to start a church, I called Woodrow Wilson Academy, and the assistant principal at the time, I said, we're going to start a church up in that area. Would you be interested in letting us rent it from you? And she said, well, I'll ask the principal, but I seriously doubt we'd be interested in that. And literally 5 minutes later, I got a phone call from the head principal, Tim Matlick. And he said, I'd love to have a church in here. So October of 2011, I would work all week at Faith and then go to church on Sunday at Faith, and then we would have Sunday night meeting at Woodrow Wilson.
Every Sunday we'd have to set up and tear down church.
Every Sunday morning, starting early, bringing all that stuff out on carts, setting up the sound, setting up the board every single week.
It was chaotic. We lived by walkie-talkies.
It was a bonding time for people to serve together.
It created a bondship between the men and the women that served.
I'm pretty sure we'd be there at least 2 hours before.
Did all these years in the school, and then the school had a project. They were building a two-story cafeteria and more classrooms. So all our storage and stuff was going to go away. We were headed for a problem.
When we came in, this felt like this would be the place that would make Novation a home.
The first service here, we didn't have the drum tank like we do now. So I hit the drums the first time during practice, and it was so obnoxious loud. Adam Goldberg came up with the idea to build a drum tank, and it's worked out spectacularly ever since.
The building that we're in now was through a guy that we had already talked to about another space a few years back.
The day that we came as a group to pray over the building as the skeleton was up, the sheetrock was halfway up, the beams were up, we could see the inside of these walls, looking at the screws, looking at the drywall dust, looking at the insulation, and being able to pray over them, knowing the scriptures in these walls, knowing there's Bibles inside of these walls, knowing that how many lives are going to be walking through these doors, how many lives are going to be touched, how many people potentially would be giving their hearts to Christ, how many people would be making that ultimate dedication of saying, you know what, I've given everything to this world, now I'm going to give it up to Christ. We're that beginning, like Novation says, a new beginning. We actually do baptisms in the sanctuary during live services. I love it.
And I got to be part of the first group of folks baptized actually in Novation Church. And I was baptized alongside a lot of the Kavanaugh kids as well. That was special too, because the Kavanaughs were instrumental in us coming to Novation.
COVID was challenging on all of us in many different ways, certainly in the business world and the marketplace, but a lot of churches really suffered from COVID as well.
I preached a sermon from my kitchen table. Janelle and the team were able to, you guys rocked it as we grew in our online presence, because we didn't really have an online presence, it was just audio.
When COVID hit, I think we did a phenomenal job. I think it brought us together as a team. Learned a lot. I mean, there were times when we were scrambling on a Saturday to figure out how to do something that was detrimental to Sunday, and just coming together as a team and working through problems together. And it's a family. It's neat.
Everybody has a servant's heart here that I'm on the AV and worship team now, and nobody has to have their own way. We work together as a group, and I think it just, to the larger group of Novation, that's what sticks out, is that we're a team. We love each other, and we're for one another, and we don't let little things divide us.
We had to get really creative during COVID because we were all filming in different places, the same song, and having to listen to it in your ear while singing. And then even sometimes we talk about how that song, even though we weren't all together, it's exactly what we needed that day also. And so God working even through the weird times. And as Bradley said, weird church is better than no church. I've never been on a live stream like that before. And so having to watch myself, it was definitely weird. It was enjoyable to watch it with my husband and son, because being at home and watching it, I was always on stage while they were down there, and we were never worshiping together. And so it was really cool having that aspect. For the first time, we were worshiping together, and my son would cuddle up to me and sing the song, and that was just a precious moment.
We had to go through this period of not meeting in person, and it was extremely challenging because so much of the interaction that we benefit from happens from being face to face and hugging and worshiping together.
Hi, my name is Kevin, and then as all of you may know me, and I'm here in Novation since almost 5 years and a half now. And then Novation means for me like home, everything, because since the first day I stepped into Novation up to now, it's all been a blessing for me and my family. And then maybe sometime I'll have a minute or time to witness what Novation have done for me so far. And then I will let you know all about my story and then the love story with me and Novation. Thank you very much.
I'm Josiah Dennis, and I'm part of the Novation story.
Hey Novation, it's the Richardsons coming at you 1,500 miles away from Myrtle Beach. We still feel like we're part of the congregation. Novation is that important to us because of the fellowship and the way the message is delivered to us.
I am Annalie.
And I'm Kara Trichler, and we are part of the Novation story.
Hi, we are the Burns family, and together we are
part of the Novation story.
I am Adrienne Covert, and I am part of the Novation story.
Hi, I'm Kim.
And I'm Betty.
And we are part of the Novation story.
Theo Picas, and we're part of the Novation story.
I'm Brian Sump, and I am part of the Novation story.
I'm Jim Sparrow, and I'm part of the Novation story.
I am Christy Patrick, and I am a part of the Novation story.
Hi, we're Sherilyn and Rod Euchert, and we're part of the Novation family.
I can't believe it's been 10 years since I helped plant a church, and I wasn't even a follower of Christ yet. In that time, I served as a youth leader. I've been on 2 mission trips and volunteered in several capacities. My job keeps me away most of the time, but when I walk through those doors, it's like being home with family.
My name's Troy Eggers, and I'm part of the Novation story.
My name is Steve Walker, and I'm truly honored to be a part of the Novation story.
We are the ladies of Novation, and we are part of the Novation story.
My name's Chris Ingalls. I am part of the Novation story.